Oh, very good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, good morning, Ashok. Yeah,
Morning.
we can hear you.
Morning. Thanks for confirmation. Yeah. So the previous discussion, we discussed about what is the main comparisons between the Spring and Spring Boot and where you are going to be using the Spring and Spring Boot and what is the purpose of the Spring and Spring Boot, all those things. And we just seen a bit exposure about web application, REST API, microservices. Hope I hope everyone got understand between the what is the difference between the web app and REST API and a microservice and what we are going to be trying to achieve with respect of the microservice. So this is all about our web application comparisons between the web application, REST API, microservice, and working with the Spring and Spring Boot. So now I want to work with something called as a Spring and Spring Boot. So to work with any kind of other framework or anything, it's not the good way to maintaining everything manually. So we need to take the help of few tools. We need to take the help of. So what is the purpose of the tools and why we are going to be using the tools that we'll just see. So here where you need to build my project to work my project, and in the future if you want to work with any other frameworks or any library, so we are using something called as a build tool we are going to be using. So what is the purpose of the build tool, why you are using the build tool is, so let us say a simple example. Did you work with the JDBC in earlier anytime?
Yeah.
JDBC.
Yeah.
So what is could you please help me, what is the steps, what is the process if I want to communicate with the database, I want to get the data or I want to insert the data, what is the things you need to know and what is the steps you need to do?
First, we need to get the register the driver. You have to choose the driver first.
So you
Register
need to
the
choose the
driver.
driver.
Yeah.
So the driver is nothing but, can I say that is a jar file,
Yes, correct.
jar file based upon your which database you are communicating, so you
Yeah.
need to get that driver.
Yeah.
So if you are communicating with the MySQL JDBC driver, you are getting some kind of a Oracle or JDBC driver you are getting. Why? Because all the implementation on this. So I'm just giving a name called as a driver.jar. So how I need to get as a developer, I need to download this manually, right?
Yes.
This driver.jar. First, I need to download this manually. First, I need to download the driver. And after compilation, if I want to execute, then I need to load this driver into my class path. So for that, how you are doing manually? Set class path you are keeping, and you are going to be loading that driver.jar. Or if you are using some ID like Eclipse or STS, you are going to be setting the class path in ID, or in ID, you are directly load this class path. So that's what you are going to be doing in your ID. So the second thing you are going to be keeping. So after that, let us say you did all those things and you compiled all those things. By the way, everyone have a knowledge on JDBC, right? Or people first time are seeing this one?
Yes, I do have it.
I mean, if possible, can you brief us for 2 minutes what exactly how the structure is? I mean, it's been long time I touched personally, so yeah.
Okay, I will do one thing. So here I will take some ID, I will take. Right. database. Oh, two things we are having: Spring Boot, microservices, and etc. Which one now we created? This is Spring Boot microservices. This is what we created, but both two databases were having with the same name. So let me drop database. Let me create a new database with other name. So create database. Any suggestion? I want to create a subname. Some name for our database. I think in the previous last week we had some discussion in our company. So what happened is we have some new interns we are having in my project. So we started a new project. So in a new project, what will happen is the project name is the data cloud. So the same way, generally, I will take the as now I'm as a solution architect, we're going to be keep the name, but generally I ask the name. So what the name you want to suggest? So there is a couple of interns we are having. So one is she is from I think that college name I didn't remember. She's so and so college, and both are interns only. Now just I asked. So ladies first, what is the name? What is the name you want to take? So she want to tell. So we want to develop a project in the data cloud, right? Yes, I want to develop a project data cloud. We'll do Harsha. We'll keep a Angel data cloud. Angel data cloud. I got okay. Angel data cloud little bit weird. So I asked the another intern. So he asked. So what you want to make? Little Prince data cloud I want to keep. Now I realize I'm not asking Instagram IDs. Please give them some proper name for the project. So that's what, whenever you are keeping any kind of a database's name or any kind of a class name, variables name, don't put your Instagram IDs here. That especially any little princess or any angel priya are there. Please don't keep your Instagram IDs for your variable names, class name. So whenever you are keeping some name, that should represent what you are doing.
Yeah.
Anyone want to keep that? Angel
No.
database, Angel microservice training, Little Prince microservice training. Microservice is a Little Prince, right? Okay. What, Anusha? Do you want like that?
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah. So what database we want to take? Create database. Let us do one thing. I will keep my database name as Spring Boot Cloud. I will keep. So our database name is Spring Boot Cloud. Agree, everyone?
Yeah.
Spring Boot and a cloud. So I'm just taking this one. Agree? Spring Boot Cloud. Any objections? Anyone having patent rights on this? This database name patent rights?
No.
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just taking this database name. So in this database name, I want to create a table. The so-called great Java developers, which you have already knowledge on this. So could you please help me? Just I want to create a name. A table I want to create in a MySQL. What is the syntax?
Create table name.
Okay. Create. Could you please everyone involve? Create table name. So let us say I'm taking a table is something called as a product is my table. I'm taking product is my table. So I need some kind of a columns. Two names I will. 2 columns that's sufficient. ID, name, that's sufficient. So PID, P name, product name I required. That's sufficient for me. So I need to give the data types. What data types we need to give? I will give something called as integer for this. This is for varchar 20 I'm taking. That's it. My product is created, no database selected. Okay, so we need to first select the database. Create table. So we created a table. Suppose if your this commands is a little bit difficult to you, didn't remember these commands, you can use the workbench also there. So I'm using the CLI. CLI means everything you need to work through the command line, but I want to use something if you want to work anything like a work graphically, you can use the workbench also. By using the workbench, you can develop your table, all those things. So that you can just at the time of installing your MySQL itself, it is going to be coming with that package. So I created a table. Now if you see describe table product. So these all are the columns I'm having. Product ID I'm having, product name. So this is the column. So this product ID type is the int. This type is the varchar. So we created a table and we were done with one. So now from our JDBC, just I want to insert a record, not more than that. Just I will insert the record. Simple operation I will do. So let me create a project for that. So I'm creating the Java project. So quickly JDBC insert I'm taking. So next, that's it, finish. Don't generate, that's it. So here I'm just going to be in a source. Let me create a new class I will create. So package com.training. This is the package I'm taking. So JDBC insert I'm taking. So main method I need, finish. So we have a class which is having the main method. So now Abhi talent. Communicate with the database. What are the steps available? First, you need to register the driver. Class dot for name. To register the driver. So you require the driver class name. So let me do one thing. So the driver class name and the database connection URL. So we'll just quickly take from here. JDBC demo.java. Okay, so this is a driver class name I'm just taking here. And I want to communicate with the connection also. That a URL also I'm just taking. So driver manager.get connection. So this you need to connect this one. Okay, so we import these statements. Driver manager connection JDBC java.sql. That's it. And we have to handle an error. So we'll do the try catch plot. So this thing.
So we need to change the database name.
Yeah, will change. First, let me move to our try catch block. We need to handle an exception also, that is SQL exception. So add catch class to existing catch class, SQL exception done. And so database name, the database name is Spring Boot Cloud. This database name I'm going to become changing, and the root admin, the same password. That's it. And now I want to insert a data into my database. So there, to insert the data, con dot, you can just create a statement. So in this create, which will return a statement object. Okay, so statement dot, you can just use execute, you can give the query. So what I will do is insert into table name is product. So insert into product. So now values. So let me give first one is the product ID is a 1. Second one product is, let us keep some product like a demo product or some book I'm going to be insert. This is my product. That's it. And after that, we need to close the connection. So these are the 5 steps: registering the driver, establishing the connection, creating the statement, executing the statement, closing the connection. So well and good. Now I have my database, I have my JDBC program. Now I want to run this JDBC program. So if I just right click, run as Java application, if you carefully see, we got an error. This is expected one. So what it is telling? Class not found exception, which is nothing but your com.mysql JDBC driver is not found. So we need to load our driver, right? Is JDBC driver will come by default with your Java software. To communicate with our MySQL, we need to set the class path for our MySQL database, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the driver we need to set. Maybe if you are working with the compiling in a command prompt, so then might be you kept something called a set the class path, all those things. Similarly, the class path mechanism we can keep here also. First of all, you need to download this MySQL driver, right? So what you need to do is you need to download that one. So MySQL driver download. Let me change this search engine. MySQL driver download. So I can just click here. So Windows, no, I don't want to take this installation. I mean, if you take the Microsoft Windows, it will give something called as a ODBC driver. I don't like that one. I want to take something called the platform independent, which is a jar file I need. So that's where I'm selecting this platform independent. So jar file we need. So just you need to click on this. So this will give your, suppose if you see tar.gz, this is for the, it will give Linux and Mac OS, that kind of a zip file. So we need a Windows zip file. So just this is sufficient platform independent archive. We just to download. No thanks. Start my download. I don't record any login. We just click here. We got our MySQL connector. So it's show in a folder. That obviously will enter come to the downloads. So this is the connector. JDBC is okay. So I'm keeping our driver here. So this is the driver I'm having. So this is a zip file. So let me extract. You can just click extract all. I have a 7-zip efficient way. It will extract. Right click 7-zip extract here. So this is the connector. So this is the jar file. This is a jar file consisting your the driver class. So whatever the class you are looking, so this MySQL JDBC driver. So this driver available in this jar file. So that's the reason you are setting the class path. So whenever you are setting the class path, if you are loading the driver means, first of all, what is meaning of a driver? If you, whichever the database you want to communicate, this JDBC API needs some implementation. SQL database needs some kind of a functions. Oracle needs some kind of a functions. So that's what these developers will did is, so they implemented the logic. So connection is the interface. But to connect with your particular database, they written the logic according to their database. That's how they implemented. They just given in the form of the jar file. That's the reason if I want to communicate with the MySQL database, if I had a MySQL JDBC driver, then I can communicate with my database by using this MySQL JDBC driver. So this MySQL JDBC or OJDBC or Postgres, a driver is a bridge between your JDBC program and a database. Why? Because all the implementations, all the logic, how to connect all those things available in your driver classes it is having. But the driver class is not developed by the Sun Microsystems, that is developed by their respective database fellows. MySQL database, they know how to connect. They implemented the driver. They're just giving, hey, a Java developer, if you want to communicate with MySQL, you can use this driver. In the future, if you want to work with the Postgres, so they developed the driver. So then they're telling, hey, so if you want to communicate with my database, you can use this one. That's how they told. So now I have a MySQL. So that's the reason MySQL driver I downloaded. This is the MySQL connector. Now I need to load this into my class path. So come here. So
I have one question.
Yeah.
Like I have always used relational database. So this JDBC I'm familiar with, but what happens when we use NoSQL, and in that there is any major change, or the connection remains the same, like what we do in JDBC?
So basically, the main difference between the relational database and a NoSQL database is relational database is the column-oriented database, whichever you are going to be dealing. So that's going to be stored data in the form of the column-oriented. But coming to the NoSQL database, you don't have a tables, and you are having a table, but the data is going to be stored in the form of the document format. So documents you need to tell. So there, until connection establishment level, definitely you need a driver. But to perform the operation, the schema got changed because a relational database having the column. So this MongoDB, so these NoSQL all coming to the document. Schema got changed. There, your current result set is not going to be working that there. You are having a document-oriented result set. So that's where you need to get another new driver. So new jar files you need to import. Those jar files have a capability to convert your document-oriented schema to the result set schema. Then you can perform the operation.
Okay. So there is an intermediate step.
Yes. So that is a little bit a costly operation. That's the reason you can simply go to the ORMs you are going, object relational mappings. So now I need to set this. So in your IDE, how you need to do is build path. Add you can just configure build path. Libraries, there is something called as a class path. In this class path, add external jars. Whatever the driver you want to know, you can just load that one. So MySQL connector, this is the jar file I need to load, apply and close. So you can just see reference libraries. So it is we are having the MySQL connector. Okay. Now I'm running the same application. We'll do one thing. I will give some kind of a this out. Record insert. So just showing some message if it is success. So run as Java application. Record insert. So let us go to our database. So how can I see if my record is available or not? The so-called Java developers.
Yeah,
Select star
from
Okay.
table name.
Product. So my record is inserted or not? So whatever the record I trying to insert, see, insert into product values. First I'm inserting the one and books. Let us have inserting the second product. I'm inserting something called as mobile. I'm inserting. Save it to the same running as Java application. Record inserted. Now you can check. Second record is also inserted. Well and good. You developed a quick JDBC program and you just successfully inserted the data. In a future, if you have to retrieve the data also, you'll same program, you can perform the operation and you can get the results that you can do all those things. Now let us narrow down what are the steps we did. To communicate with my MySQL database, I downloaded this driver.jar, right? MySQL connect.jar we downloaded, correct? First step.
Yeah.
Second, we set the class path, either in IDE or if you are using in a manual way also, you are setting the class path. So that is the second step we did. So let us say, I want to deliver this project to my client. For example, this is my project. I want to deliver my client. So generally, how we'll deliver a project to the client means we will use either jar file or a war file. If your application is a web application, you are going to be using the war file. Here, currently here also, if you see, Some people developed a Java application which can communicate, which will make the connection establishment between your Java program and a database program. So that we will call it as a driver. So how they shared the driver with us? Did they share the source code with us? They just given a jar file, right? This driver is a jar file. They didn't share the source code with us. They given the jar file. Similarly, we also, if we generate some kind of a project based upon our type of the project, if my application is a web application, I need to share in the form of the .war file. So if my application is standalone application like this JDBC drivers, all those things, we need to share in the form of the jar file. Ultimately, we suppose not to share the source code. We are going to be packaging our class files and we are going to be sharing. So if I want to share my project to once it delivers to deliver to the client, so I need to package. I need to package my project. So let us say in the future, if I want to work with some other integrations or any other thing, might be sometimes I need to do some kind of a configurations for my project also. Let us say I'm working in my local system. I'm having the JDK 11 target microsystem. Target people using some other maybe lower kind of version they're using, Java 8 they are using. So then based upon the system, I need to downgrade and I need to recompile my class as well. I need to give that one. So this kind of some configuration I need to take. So now to develop a simple JDBC program or to develop a simple program, we just this much effort we need to face. So we need to download the driver and we need to set the class path. In the future, if you want to make some kind of a configurations, I need to take care about the configuration and I need to make any kind of other packaging files. We need to take care about that packaging also. So everything I need to mention. So this driver I need to keep and downloading the driver, class path setting and packaging configurations, everything I need to take care. Okay, now I'm going to, what is the problem? I'm not feeling any problem because downloading a one jar file is not a matter. I'm going to be taking care. Fine. Let us increase a little bit complex in our project. My project using 10 libraries it is using here. Suppose if you are working with the take a Spring. So I need a Spring core. I need a Spring JDBC. I need Spring web. I need Spring security. So because a full-fledged application, these many libraries we are using. And when we have a Spring JDBC also, I need to communicate the MySQL driver, MySQL jar I need, as well as I'm using something called as a Kafka related, all those things. So Kafka connectors we need. So we need some so on. So let us say to perform any kind of a unit test cases, all those things. So we need a JUnit jars we need. Suppose if you are using some kind of a specialized logging mechanism, like a distributed logging, all those things, you need some kind of a loggers.jar you need. Maybe if you are using some kind of a caches, so Hazel caches, something you need, high level caches you are using, some kind of a distributed caches, Hazel cache you are using. So now say 10 libraries I'm using. So 10 libraries I need to use in my product. In the same manual approach, you need to download all these 10 libraries and you need to set the class path for all these 10 libraries and you need to take care about the packaging your project with these 10 libraries and you need to take care about configuration with all these libraries. You need to take care about this. So which is nothing but one library is not a problem. 10 libraries, do you think that much easy to maintain? That is to version compatibility. Each and every version you need to maintain properly. As a developer, you will download manually, but how can I deliver to the client? We'll tell to the client, download these jar files, you can set the class path, then it will run. Then client will ask, then why I am paying to you? I can do that, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So here the problem here is development level, we are not facing any problem. Okay, even in development level also, if it is a one library, two library is not a problem. But whenever our environment demanding a number of configuration, number of libraries, that's where actually problem is happen. So this is where our Java developers and the enthusiastic people targeted on this. So every time people is going to be to set their environment, they're keeping a lot of effort. Like if their project needs some other external jar files, if their project needs some kind of a configuration, if the project needs some packaging techniques like a jar or var, so if they need some kind of a deployment strategies, or if they want to do any kind of automation works, as a developer again and again and again, so they need to keep a lot of effort. So that's where we are having to reduce this effort in an environment setup or to build my project. So ultimately, setting the class path, compiling the project and packaging means I'm building my project. So once I build my project, then only I can deliver to my client. So to build my project, to automate this process, to automate this build process, people given a tool called as a build tool they given. So build tools we will give here. So the purpose of the build tools is these build tools will automate your environment setup, environment configuration, packaging configuration. So what the comfort they are going to giving. Suppose if you need any kind of a jar files or anything, so it will download automatically the jar file. You don't need to bother about this. That will be download. Suppose if you want to make some kind of a configuration, so it is going to be taken care. That build tools is going to be taking care about the configuration. Suppose if you want to expecting some kind of a specific set of a packaging, I want to package in the form of the jar file. I want to package in the form of the var file. So this build tool is going to be taking care. So in Java, we are having the various kind of build tools. So first build tool introduced is the Ant here. Ant is the first build tool, but it is deprecated. Our grandfathers used this Ant tool. So we are not going to be using this one. It is a it don't have a capability to download automatic. So Ant is a very legacy one. The next most popular build tool is the Maven. Since now also out of 100 projects, 80 projects will use the Maven. Remaining 20 projects, they will go for other build tools like a Gradle, and they will use some kind of some commercial tools also we are having. So that commercial tools also they're going to be using. So these are the most popular build tools: Ant, Maven, Gradle. Ant is already deprecated. We are no more using this Ant. So now we are using something called as a Maven and a Gradle. So the first build tool, if you want to work with the Gradle also, if you'll work with the Maven, you can happily work with the Gradle. There is no issue on this. You can happily work with the Gradle. So Maven, that's the reason is very easy to understand Maven also. First you understand the Maven, then you can easily work with the Gradle. But the only difference between the Maven and a Gradle is Maven will use the XML configuration, very easy to configure all those things. But a Gradle will use something called as a Groovy configuration. And Gradle have some other compatibilities. Suppose if your project needs some kind of a runtime build changes, frequent rendering operations if you need, so that way you are going to use in the Gradle. But a Maven is not like that. Maven is a standard one. So once you start the build, so in mid you cannot able to do change anything. Either you need to terminate or you need to wait until build is completed. But Gradle is not like that. If you start the build process also, in between if you want to change anything, that's a costly operation. If you change anything, so then it is going to be take that one. We are not if that is not reached that step, it is going to pick that new step also, because runtime changes is allow. And if you want to make some kind of a custom executions, you can able to do that one also in a Gradle. But before working with the Gradle, so if you want to understand that thing, first you need to start with the Maven. So that's the reason we are taking a build tool is a Maven. So we'll understand this Maven, what Maven is going to be doing, how it is going to be working. So this Maven is a build tool. This Maven is a build tool, which will help you to download dependencies. What is the meaning of dependencies is that might be some library, that might be some framework, that is some the jar. So whichever the libraries frameworks you are using in your project, in your environment setup, you are using this Maven. So which will download your dependencies and which will automate configuration and which will taking care about any kind of packaging stuff. It will take care. And if you want to execute some kind of a custom scripts, if you want to execute, So that's also you can do with the Maven. So through Maven, if you want to execute some kind of a shell script, or if you want to execute some kind of thing, you can do that one also. So this everything automated by the Maven. Ultimately, this Maven is going to be reduce developer effort in project dev to deployment completely. So compiling your class files, packaging your class files, and moving your class file one location to another location. So copying some jar files to one location to another location, everything development to deployment. So project development to deployment, to automate all those things, we are using this build tool called as a Maven. So this Maven is going to be taking care about your project to build tool. So now if you use this Maven, you no need to download all those things automatically. Your jar files is going to be downloaded automatically. So how this Maven will do is, this Maven is going to be take something called as a XML file that is called as a pom.xml. In this pom.xml, we will maintain all the libraries. What is the libraries I'm going to be using, and what kind of a configuration I need to do, and how my project should be built. Everything we are going to be doing in this pom.xml. In this pom.xml, we are going to be doing. So with this pom.xml, you can able to give the information to the Maven, or you can instruct the Maven, hey Maven, so this is the thing I need to do. So this is the work I'm expecting from you. So this is the configuration I'm expecting from you. So these are the dependencies you need to download. So that's you can tell your Maven. So with this Maven, you can automate everything. So you can develop a Maven project manually, or you can use the IDE also. But if you use the IDE itself come with the Maven integration. So you don't need to set up anything. But if you want to work with manually, you need to download the Maven. So how you need to set up the Maven environment is, let me show how you can set up the Maven manually. So then I will show IDE also. But remember one thing, Spring perspective of you, you no need to struggle these things here, because what I'm trying to make you is, you need to understand internals. So I can directly develop a Spring project by using a Spring CLI, but this Spring CLI also internally use the Maven package only, the pom.xml, everything we are going to be using. But once you know how to work with manually, you can easily play with that one. That's what I'm trying to make here. So can we see how we can, first simple project we will see with the plain Maven, how we can generate. Can we see? Simple
Yes.
project, or should I
Yeah.
directly start with a Springboard?
A simple project.
Yeah. So here I have two approaches. So one is I can use the IDE, or I can use a manual project I can download. So first, if you want to do manually, you don't want to use the IDE. If you want to use the manually, first you need to download the Maven. So Maven is open source here. You can go here, Maven download. So this is a Maven download. So here you need to get this binary zip file. So don't download this source zip. If you got the source zip, this is giving the source code to you, and you need to compile and you need to generate all this zip file for you. If I want to work with something called as a product, so just I need the binary sufficient. So this is for the Linux, that is the reason tar.gz. So if it is a Linux or a Mac OS, everything will use the extension of the tar.gz here, like a windows.zip, Linux and a Mac OS, tar.gz. Tar files we will call. So Windows, you need to get this binary zip file. So this zip file, you can just click on this. It will going to be download the Maven file, Maven zip file. It will come like this. Apache Maven. So this zip file will come. Just you need to right click, extract all. That's it. If you have a 7-zip extract here, that's sufficient. Then it will extract. It will come here like this. Now to use this Maven, what you need to do is, so you need to set the path for your lib this bin folder you need to keep. So you need to copy until this bin. After extract your Maven, you need to copy until this bin. in this bin, you can see maven.cmd. So these are all related you are having. So this is the shell file maven.sh, maven.cmd. So we need to set the path for until this path. So copy this, open your environment variables. Okay, add into your system environment variable here. Click on this environment variable, add into your system environment variable, not a user environment variable, system environment variable. That is the best thing. So in this system environment variable, select the path, edit, click the new, and just copy that one. That's it. So once you did that one, automatically it will take. See, already in my system it is set up. So software Apache Maven 3.8.1 bin. So that's you need to mention. So if you didn't mention that one, then your Windows will not able to find that your Maven where it is installed. So once you set that one, open a command prompt, check is Maven is properly set or not. MVN -version you can type. If you got this kind of information, then your Maven is installed successfully. So our Maven was set up successfully. So now you can use the Maven, you can generate the project, you can do everything in your application. Now I will do one thing. Let me show manually how you can generate a project by using this Maven. So the same JDBC application, I will going to be work with the Maven. So let me create a new folder. Maven demo I will keep. So here I want to generate the project. So what you need to do is simply open the command prompt here. Here I want to generate the project. To generate the project, where I having command called as a MVN, you can use the type called as a archetype. Archetype you can use. So with this archetype, generate, you need to generate the project. Okay. So you can give your all kind of a configuration. So this Maven archetype will going to be generate a few configurations there. So that is nothing but a group ID it will need. So the meaning of a group ID is, let us say, the best example is, as a software company, I'm going to be releasing a lot of products, a lot of things are involved. Let us say Oracle. Oracle is involved in the database. Oracle is involved in the health science. Oracle is involved in a JDK implementation also. So as an organization, if any product is released from me, that is coming from the Oracle group only. So that's where maybe product names is different. Everything is coming from the Oracle group only. So that's how I want to promote my application. So there you can use that group ID. So generally what will happen is group ID, what will take is, we'll reverse the domain name. So that's where we are going to be taking the product name. So for example, earlier you downloaded the MySQL. So MySQL class name, what is that here? com.mysql. Actually, this is the domain name, mysql.com. They just reverse. So this is the group name. This is the group name. They maintain like that, com.mysql. Suppose if you are working with something called as the Oracle driver. So for example, SQL Server driver class name. So db2 com.ibm. db2 is coming from the IBM. So that is a group name. So Microsoft SQL Server com.microsoft. Oracle JDBC driver. So org.postgres. So this is everything is the group name. So if you want to package your application, so you need to promote your organization name or not. We kept it a lot of effort. People should aware our organization name, right? So that's the reason generally how people will going to be take as a group name is they will just reverse the domain name. So com.ibm. So if you see, it will actually ibm.com, com.microsoft. If you reverse this one, microsoft.com. They will just reverse the domain name and they are going to be give that as a group ID. So that's just to promote that one only. So to generate a Maven project manually, so you need to give some kind of a group ID. So let me give a group ID -d group ID. So I will give something like com.training. So my organization name is that group ID the training. That's I'm going to be taking. So after that, I need to give some kind of a artifact ID here. The meaning of artifact ID is project name. So what is the artifact ID you will give? That project will going to be generated. What I will do is my project name is the JDBC with Maven. This is the project name I'm going to be giving. So then you need to select a kind of archetype. So what kind of archetype you want to generate so that you can take. So we're having a different kind of archetypes we are having here. So if you want to generate a web-based skeleton, web-based structure by using the Maven, we are having the Maven web archetype you are having. So just this is a common. I just okay with a quick archetype is sufficient for me. So archetype, I'm taking this archetype. Artifact equal to. So you need to give us some kind of a quick start. So Maven archetype quick start you can give. Okay. Suppose if you're developing some kind of a web-based, you want to develop application with a web-based structure. So instead of a quick archetype quick start, archetype web you can give. That's it. Okay. So this is the thing I need, and I need to disable some interactive mode. -D interface interactive mode. False I'm going to be keeping. Okay, so why? Because if you make interactive mode, it will going to be ask some kind of unnecessary configurations. Don't require that one. Default configuration is sufficient for me. So this is the thing I just mentioned. So Maven archetype generate, I'm generating the project. So -D group ID. So the, basically, generally what we will do is this group ID plus this archetype, we are going to be converting as a package name. That package name we are going to be making. And archetype artifact ID. So which kind of a project you want to generate? Just you want to develop a simple Java project, or you want to develop a web project, or you want to develop any kind of a web services. So this will define the skeleton of your project. So that's you are just mentioning here. Interactive mode false I'm taking. So this is what I'm expecting. So let us generate this project. Just to click enter. Now your Maven is going to be generate your project. Build failure archetype quick start 100 is not configured. What? What is the thing we given archetype? Okay.
You have to give D equals to, I guess, in the archetype.
D equal to where? Oh,
Just archetype here.
no. Here we made a mistake. -D. Here you need to give the artifact ID.
There you go. Correct.
Artifact ID. -D artifact ID. Yeah. So group ID is okay. -D group ID. Okay. So -D artifact ID. Artifact ID. No spelling mistake. Given this one. Okay. So then -D archetype artifact ID. So Maven -archetype quick start. Okay. Okay. So now build was success. This is the typo we mentioned earlier. This is thing here. So this is not here, not a D. So you need to give this. Okay, so here JDBC with Maven -D given again, but basically -D artifact ID we need to give. So this is the command we generated. We generated all those things. So this is the command. So this generated a project with us. So now if you just go to the location wherever you created, so now Maven demo in this location, you can see Maven demo. You can see it generated the project. So JDBC with the Maven, that is our artifact ID, JDBC with the Maven. It generated the project, and you can just it is having some kind of a pom.xml, and you can write all your configuration here in this pom.xml. Edit with Notepad++. You can see it given the configuration, all those things. It given the some version, and it's given it by default added the dependency. Now in the future, if you are working with some kind of a other dependency, you can add here. So like how they added the JUnit, you can add something called as a JDBC driver. Everything can add. So downloading this Maven and remembering this lengthy command a little bit difficult, right? So that's the reason we'll generally use the IDE. So if you use the IDE, IDE will take care about this, all those things. IDE will consisting of integrated Maven, it will take care. Okay, but let us do one thing. So I will show that both ways. My project is already created, right? My JDBC demo project is already created, right? So already I have some Maven project. So if I already have some Maven project, I want to work with this existing Maven project, and now I need to write the code. So I can import this project into my IDE. So just file, import. You can see Maven. So existing Maven project, I can just click here, existing Maven project. Next, you need to give that location. So browse, that automatically print your pom.xml. So just finish. This is your project, Maven project. So see, this created your source file. You are having the main Java com training. So the package it is created, everything ID was taken care. It is having your app dot. It just given some kind of a simple application they given, and in pom.xml you are having all those things. So if already some Maven project is there, if you want to work in that existing Maven project, you need to import. Okay. You developed a Maven project manually. You used this command. So with this command, you generated the project. Now I want to work this project. Now I want to do the coding, all those stuff. So then I'm just going to be importing this project into my IDE, and I'm going to be running this one. Now I want to run my project. So what I will do is the same code, whatever the code I written, JDBC insert. So I will just keep inside my app.java. You can change the class name also, no issue. In app.java, I will keep. Okay. So let me import these things. Okay, that's fine, no issue. So I took a legacy version, that's fine. Okay. So now the same code I mentioned, the app.java. So now I can able to run my project. But to run my project also, again, I need to download this JDBC driver, right? For my, whatever the driver you set the class for, that is only dedicated for your JDBC insert. But now I want to, in the same code, I want to run through my JDBC with Maven. I need to download all those things, right? That jar file, all those things. Now you don't need to download all those things. So you can just add that dependency. You can just simply Google for that one. MySQL JDBC Maven. You can just type Maven dependency. You can go to that Maven dependency. So let us say generally which version you will take is which is having the maximum usages, that's will take. So I will go for this one. So 4.422. You can just click here 8.0.28. This is your dependency. Just you need to add this dependency in your application. So where you need to add is you have a pom.xml, right? In your pom.xml, like how you added the dependency for the JUnit, inside the dependency tag, you need to add your MySQL dependency you need to add. So this is the dependency I copied. To format this code, what you will do is Control A, Control Shift F, it will format neatly, it will format. I'm just saving. So now see, this is the dependency. So this dependency is my Maven MySQL jar file. Now I don't need to download. It will take care about all those things. And now see, it is taking care about the packaging of a jar also. It will going to be take the packaging of a jar. It will going to be create the jar. So now I written the code. To write the code, I use the IDE, and I added my pom.xml, my dependency in the pom.xml. So my project is ready. So what you will do is, wherever you generate your project, you need to open the command prompt. Wherever your pom.xml is there, open there. To build your project, mvn install you can type. Then it is going to be compile, and it will create a folder called the target folder. It is going to be generate your project there. So here it is, what it is telling is compilation failure. What is the compilation source option? Use 6 or later. Compilation issue. So it is taking version is the 6. Now let me do one thing. So let me add a property. So you can just add like this, properties. In this property, you can add the compilation version. You can add. Already we have this one. We'll do one thing. In this properties, I will take why it is not given? It is not auto suggesting. So already we are having this one. Group ID, artifact ID, jar file we take version, okay. And I will do one thing. So in the properties, I will make a Java. So my system Java version is Java version 11. So I can just simply take a JDK 11 I can take. And once I took this one, I need to change my plugin sources also. That's do later. So we need to add again our Maven compiler. Okay, I will do one thing. Actually, at the time of generating, it created a legacy one. Instead of configuring the properties, first let me configure the plugin. So that is the best way. I will take a plugin. plugins. In this plugins, I will take a one Maven compiler plugin. So for this, let us check any.
So Harsha, what would be the difference setting it through properties and setting it via plugin?
So if I already have some plugin, for that plugin, if I want to add a property, so then this properties is going to be work out. Currently, I don't have any plugin, right? First, I need to keep a plugin. So for this plugin, I need to keep a property.
Okay.
So plugin. Honestly, I didn't remember that Maven compiler plugin. Maven compiler plugin. Compile using a different JDK. This is what I need. So you can take this artifact ID. This is what I need. Group ID is not artifact ID. I need this one, and this plugin. What I will do is I will going to be configuration. In this configuration, source. Oh man, it is not giving any source. Configuration. Okay, so we'll do one thing. So this one I am expecting. So just you can add this properties in your project properties. So 1.1.8 or something you can just mention, or you can take a configuration source target. You can mention like this. They are telling either use this one or configure plugin. So we don't require this one also. I will remove this plugin. So have some properties. I will add just directly this one. Control A, Shift F, just it will format. Save it. So now I need a compiler source 1.8. So if I just do so the compilation version, because my system consisting of a Java 11, your Maven running on the Java 8. So a lower version can run on a higher version, right? No issue on that. So Java 8 application can run on Java 11, no issue. So that's what it just compiled. Now build was success. So once it is compiled, what it will do is it will prepare a jar file here. Are you able to see this one? JDBC with Maven jar.
Yeah.
So this is our application. Packaging also done by the Maven. If your build was success, your packaging also done by with your Maven. So this jar file. So whatever the classes code you written, everything available in this jar file. So if you run this jar file, then your data is going to be inserted. So what is the data we inserted here is 2 mobile. Let me do one thing. 3, some kind of a laptop. So now let me build our project again. What is the syntax? MVN install. Okay, so build done, and see in just now it generated 9:11 a.m. it is generated. So this is your project. So this is your application, and you can just open your command prompt, Java -jar. You can run your jar file, JDBC with a jar. You can just run your application. No manifest. You need to just give that to manifest all those things. That's not an issue. You need to give that manifest. So then you can see it compiled my Maven and it is created all those things. And if I just if you have a 7-zip, you can do one tricky thing. Right click 7-zip, open archive. in your com.training, you have your app.class file. So this is, it compile your jar file and it kept it in everything in your compiled jar file. Everything it is configured. It taken care about all those things. So Maven, all the configuration. So it taken the pom.xml properties, everything it was taken care. So your Maven is going to be taking care of everything. It will take care about the configuration. It will going to be taking care about the class compilation. It is going to be taking care about any kind of a lib you need. That lib folder also it's going to be taking care. So that's how your Maven is going to be reduce your burden in your application setup. So to communicate with your MySQL, JDBC, everything also, it just taken care. It just taken care, and it is going to be running all your application. Agree, setuping the Maven manually is a little bit difficult. That's the reason in generally what we will do is we will use the IDE we will use. With this IDE, you can able to set up your project. So as of now, you put your effort manually you generated the project and you just seen the skeleton of your project and you just seen all about configuration of your Maven manually. It's like a bits and pieces. No need to worry. If you just once you download the Maven, you can easily understand. No need to worry. Initial couple of days, as I mentioned, it's a like of seeing a Korean movie. We don't know unless we don't have a subtitles, we cannot even understand. But once we start everything through your IDE, you can easily understand. No issue on that. But what my focus is, at least did you able to got the context about the Maven? What is the purpose of the Maven?
Yes, sir. Sure.
So Maven, if there is a no Maven, you need to download this dependencies manually, configuration manually, packaging manually you need to do. If you have any kind of a custom scripts, you need to do. But now see, you have a Maven, you just trigger the MVN install, it compiled all the classes and it is created your jar file also in a target folder. It generated your jar file also. Now you can deliver this application. If someone was insert some kind of a data, you can use this jar file and you can able to run your application. So that's how your Maven is going to be reducing your burden with respect to of the project setup, with respect to of the project packaging, with respect of the project execution. Okay, so now I will show how you are going to be executing this jar file, and instead of keeping this much hard work, how we can develop a Maven project simply by using the IDE. So that's I will show tomorrow. Once we see about the Maven, then immediately I will show how you can generate the Spring Boot project, how many ways you can generate the Spring Boot project. So that's I will show tomorrow. But just in your system, try to set up a project. So just to do one thing, I will give this command to you, generate a project. This is a command. Download the Maven by coming tomorrow, everyone. Download the Maven. Check the chat box. In a chat box, I just given this command. Download the Maven, set the class path. You need to do these things first. Download Maven. So Maven is not installable application. So it is a runnable application. So for that, set path in system variables. Where I need to set until which path? Maven, wherever you download your Maven. So mine is available in software. Until Maven bin, you need to set the path. Add this property. Okay, so in your system environment variable, add this path in your system environment variable. Path, you need to add this one. Then check Maven installed or not. So how you can check? I mean, how Maven is properly set or not? MVN-version. So then generate the project. Generate the project. To generate the project, you need to give this command. Give this command. That's it. So these are the 4 steps you need to do here. By coming tomorrow class, please do this 4 steps. First one is What's the first one? Take a cup of
Download
coffee.
Yeah.
Take a cup of coffee. Downloading the Maven and extract that one. Set the path variable. So in a path variable, what we need to add? The bin location of your Maven. The bin location of a Maven. So then check your Maven is properly set or not. How you can check? MVN hyphen version. If it gives some kind of information, then your path is set properly. So later that we are going to be generating the project MVN archetype. You can generate the project. So then it is going to be generate your project. So if you can see is your Maven is generated or not. Once it is generated this project. So again, go to your command prompt wherever form.xml is there. In that form.xml, open the command prompt in that location. Just type the MVN install. Then you're supposed to see a jar file in a target folder. If you are able to see the jar file in a target folder, then your application is properly set up and you can develop any kind of application with this Maven project. This is a simple Maven project creation. The effort is one time only. The effort is a one time only. In the future, if you want to update all those things, you can able to do all those things. But Spring will not going to be present this much here. What are the steps you did manually? So Spring Boot CLI will take care. But internally, you need to understand what is it actually doing. That's the reason we just mentioned here. Can I expect at least one fellow can show tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So put your effort here, no issues. So this is not like I'm not going to giving any kind of punishment or not like that. So just put your effort. It's a like of a combiningly we are going to be learning together like that. So put your effort. If you got it, well and good. If you didn't got it, that's also very good. Why? Because I have another chance to explain a bit more. If you are able to solve that, good. You got the context, we can go to the next topic. If you are unable to get that one, that's even very good. Why? Because we can put that effort, we can just try to re-explain, we can try to make where we did a mistake. Then you can able to understand also. But one thing is, don't neglect this first initial classes here, not only Spring Boot. In the future, if you are going to be working, if you are learning any kind of a framework also, first initial 2 weeks classes are very important here. So that's where actual students will make a mistake. Generally, they will join any kind of frameworks or any kind of training. So there, what they will do is first 2 weeks, it is a kind of a basics only. I will start when the coding is started. But at that moment, what will happen is you will start neglecting all those things. Once I quickly start the coding, at that moment, if you face any issue, maybe you will feel hesitate. Okay, already this is almost 2 weeks class is over. So if I ask this silly question now, is it going to be make sense or not? That's so. But even at the end of session also, if you ask the basic question, I will ready to answer. But that all depends upon your that's just general student mentality. So that's what the people is. You will hesitate to ask the basic questions, and that's so slowly that will going to be dilute your interest about the subject. That is the mistake people will do. Why? Because if you neglect this initial 2 weeks of class, initial 2 weeks class is a very important for any framework or any library. So this 2 weeks, if your system environment is ready, automatically you will get an interest to work a bit more. You are generating the project, you are seeing the output. Okay, that feels so good. Generate the project, yeah, you are going to be running the product and you are going to be seeing the build is going to be generating. So once you generate the project, at least you see build success in a green color. We did something meaningful work today. That kind of a goodness it is going to be shown. So that's where put your effort initial 2 weeks. So once you put your effort in initial 2 weeks, automatically that will going to be habituated. You are going to be start doing practicing. So that's how subject makes easy. This is the mistake everyone will make. First 2 weeks, if you didn't keep the effort, this first 2 weeks is a crucial. If you want to learn not only Spring, tomorrow you want to learn any new tool, if you want to learn any other tool. So this is the 2 things we need to take. So everything you need to mention. So I can able to take care about remaining thing. We are here to take all those things. Please put your effort the first 2 weeks. Then I'm going to be guiding you how you're going to ping. So this is what our environment setup. So we need to take care about this environment setup. So how you can able to generate all the projects that I will take care. Okay. Saptarshi, you can just can call the admin team, so they will divert you to me. Okay. I've seen your message. You can just call the admin team. So might be Vishwanath or some admin team. They will divert to me.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what. And by tomorrow, just to put your effort, try to set up your Maven. So then you are going to be see at least a product. At least you can generate the project. So initially it is a kind of a little bit bits and pieces. So but once you make your hands dirty with your code, then everything is going to make very easy. No need to worry. So we are going to be working on this.
Harsha, for this, did we need to install anything like Spring Boot setup or anything?
No, as of now we didn't do anything.
Okay.
Just to set up the Maven, so then I will guide you step by step.
Okay.
So can you open the paint one, that soft copy? To take some screenshot. Yeah.
Thank you. Catch you tomorrow.
So no need of Spring Boot here.
As of now, no need. Just it is I'm just discussing the Maven tool.
Okay.
So this configuration also Spring will take care automatically. But the thing is, I want to show how internally happening.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.